Hey guys, Jeff here at Matt Kite.
Caden from Matt Kite.
And we're excited to have Caden here. He, what is this, year 3?
Yeah, I'll be a junior at Michigan State next year.
All right. We don't hold that against him because he comes here and he puts in his work and his time and really helps us out. Some of you have probably talked to him on the phone, and he's really helpful here in the shop. And not only that, wait till you see the B-roll that you're going to be watching of this guy right here. He is stepping up his game when it comes to foiling.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So being at school, I come back and the wind's kind of hit or miss, and I'm not the best kiter, so I get to come home. Luckily, I grew up on boats my whole life, and I work at a pretty cool company, so I get to grab some foils and go rip around. So yeah, I've been putting in work.
He's being a little humble. He actually can kite. He just needs a few more sessions to get that confidence
I'll be there.
that I saw on this video behind the boat. Because really looking smooth out there. Well, we're here to kind of talk a little bit more about the one lock system. Now, obviously, if you guys have been, anyone that's got any social media, been in Facebook or Instagram, you had to have been sleeping if you haven't seen this online. Because Slingshot, wow, they have put quite the campaign about how quickly the one lock can be put together.
So
we're not really going to be going over all the details of putting it together. There's been plenty of videos on that. But what we're going to do today is, we're going to have a talk here a little bit with Caden about his first experience on the boat. Mm-hmm. And so why don't you walk us through from maybe getting the gear from your car to the boat. What was your experience like with this setup?
Yeah, so we're going from wind to wake. I love it. So just to start, this thing is an awesome foil. It did a great job for me. But what I really loved about it was how it packed together, like super easy. So we all know, like with your foil, you have your front wing, rear wing, fuse, mast. Everything can stack together as one. The one thing that people don't love, and the one thing that we get calls about all the time is, where's my hardware? I lost my hardware. There is no hardware with the one lock system, and that just makes it just ahead of the game as far as traveling goes. But also in the boat world, it's huge for storage. So usually on a boat, you'll see on the side, there's wakeboards, surfboards. There's always something in the racks. And you try and you see what happens with these foils, and we've gotten pictures of and emails of seats that have gotten cut by a carbon front wing. People that have their foils fall off. I was riding the other day, and we had a foil in the front of the boat. We had a roller, and it popped right out, but it was all good. So storage is a huge factor.
So you're saying you're going to have some more people on the boat.
Yeah.
This is going to take up far less space.
You can have,
Well, look at this. Look at this. Right in front of us here, we've got everything packed within a small little area.
Right. So if you have a small bag or anything, it goes right here. I was using a North bag, and it fit the board, the front wing, rear wing, mast. It's kind of cool how, a fuse is fine, but this creates its own fuse, so it's kind of you got 4 pieces instead of 5 or more.
So we were able to pack this all up in what looked like a small little bag.
Dude,
about
it was
the size of this board. Everything fit in there.
If I had a tie on, it'd be like a briefcase. It was so easy.
Yeah. And I don't know if Slingshot's gonna be coming out with a bag, but any bag, it just packs down incredible. So once you got on the boat, give us your experience with where things went from there.
Yeah, so we were in a very controlled environment, obviously, but actually I went out with a couple of friends, and we had a lot of kids in the boat, all from the Michigan State Wake team. What was really cool is we had about 8 kids in the boat, and I was able to store this under a seat. So then all I had to do was tap somebody's leg, and then I popped it open. I grabbed all my gear, I put it on the back of the boat, and I was in the water in about 2.5 minutes. So that was pretty cool. So we didn't lose out on any room in the boat. The biggest part about the boat is fun, okay? If you grew up on a boat, you understand there's yelling involved, but when it's your friend's boat, you have a fantastic time, so yeah.
For sure, and I think the time that you can save with setup is a big one because it can get you on the water. And how many riders did you have yesterday? Did you have to do any swapping while you're on the boat?
Yeah, so it was me and one other rider, and because we were just just out there for fun. It was
your brother, right?
Yeah, it was my brother. Yeah, you guys have probably seen Cole in a few of these videos.
Oh, well, had he?
Yeah, so you might see Cole get a little bit humbled. So
yeah, he's I saw a little passing the baton, but I know Cole. He's
he's always better than me. Yeah, but
what?
We'll see.
You're catching up, man. Don't sell yourself short.
Yeah.
So anyway, so you guys had 2 different foils. Did you try 2 different foil sets up?
Yeah, we had 2 front wings. I don't know if the other one is up here or not.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, so we had this one right here. So this was a 1525, yeah. This one is not the best for behind load just because it's so big. For pumping, it was awesome, but what's really cool about this was like Cole got up and he was riding, and then he came down, and then I stopped the boat. I grabbed the wing for him, and then he swapped it, and we were going again in about a minute.
So
which is super cool.
So most of the video is on which foil?
Most of the video is on this one right here.
And
so
which
that's
one
the
is that?
Glide
So people know.
925.
The Glide 925?
Right, yeah.
All right.
So both of these pump super well. Obviously, you have a bigger wingspan on this one, so it's harder to turn and carve. But this one did a great job of both. I was able to carve, I was able to pump, I was able to do everything I wanted to do behind the boat. And then when I was done, I could just throw everything under the boat, which in the foil world, that is super uncommon without a bunch of screwdrivers and telling people to move and everything, or puncturing your seat and your dad yells at you. There's a lot of factors that this reduces, which was super awesome.
And I think that's a huge selling part.
Yes.
The portability, which is what Slingshot is marketed for this, that it's no tools, easy, quick setup, 4 or 5 steps, and you're up and riding. Not only that, you don't need a big car. You know, you can easily stow it, you know, in any car you drive in, and then of course underneath the boat seat. So portability and ease of use. We've had a chance to be able to wing with this, and we've been a chance to kite with it, and we found our setup time, I mean, it's cut in half.
Right.
Which means more ride time.
It does.
And you know, we were talking at lunch today, you know, all these little things in our busy lives, to have quick setup, you know, we've got families, jobs, commitments, things that can make things quicker, it does add up over time. So to be able to have something that's just plug and play, super quick and easy, does add to more water time, which adds to more progression and getting better.
Plus, it saves you time trying to find your hardware, which you could have sworn you put in your cup holder, but it's not there.
Or when you're putting your stuff together, you may drop a screw or whatever, so there's none of that happening with this setup. So this was your first experience on it, right, on the boat?
Yeah, I've been messing around with it.
Well, good to know, though. So you had ridden this setup before.
Yeah, I was on it. I mean, but yeah, so this summer was my first summer on it, because obviously it was just released. But I was on it, I think, 2 sessions before, and immediately when I got up, because I've been on a lot of foils, so my personal favorite has to be Code. That's one of like the top of the line performance, like as far as like pumping goes, carving it and everything. But this one, I thought it was just amazing. From like, again, the portability was awesome. It wasn't my favorite foil ever. I will say that, but it still just did everything that I wanted it to do in such a small space. So I was able to pop up and go. I was pretty rusty because I haven't rode in a while. I've been at school, and then I finally came back after, you know, skiing like the whole year. But I popped right up and I rode, and it was sweet.
You didn't look rusty.
No. The rust got shaken off pretty fast.
So the B-roll that they're watching occasionally while we're talking right now is on this Glide 920.
Yes.
So let's dive a little bit more into the trade-offs here, because I think some of our customers, you know, haven't seen a video. We've seen how fast this can be put together.
Right.
And we've seen, you know, the performance of their team riders riding it.
Right.
We saw you riding it. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you could have been riding any of the brands that we sell that cost more than this.
Exactly.
So if we look at the trade-offs here, what would you say for the price point, what are some highlights that you noticed getting on riding this? You said something about the lift or the ease, the glide. Would you see a characteristic? I mean,
you almost said just now, the ease of it is just amazing. I really loved how easy it was just to get up and go. It's a super forgiving foil. It doesn't fight you. You can just carve with it. It really just goes with you. Like, there's a lot of these like high aspect front wings that just send you straight up. This thing did a great job just keeping me level. And sure, I've got a lot of experience. I've been foiling for like a while now, but I feel like anybody could just hop on this and go. I actually had a friend try it. She's been on the Go Foil, I think the RS 1100, and she was astonished by it just because she's used to a bigger front wing with more surface area. She was able to pump this back 2 or 3 waves, and she had a great time on it.
I do agree. That's kind of a characteristic, I believe, of this new foil system they have. For the size, it has a lot of lift.
Yes.
And so you could potentially size down when you're thinking about that. But I would agree with you. When I had my first experience with it down in Florida in the Keys, winging, I was really impressed with ease of use right away. It felt very comfortable once you're up on foil. Sometimes with foils, it takes, you know, a few moments to get used to it, where your feet need to be and kind of get used to its nuances. I felt right away that it was pretty easy to engage with. I did feel it had a fair amount of lift, you know, for its size.
Yeah.
And the glide was very good. So for the price point, I am thinking this wing for its performance is pretty incredible. I mean, you mentioned Code and some other brands that we sell that are very high performing foils and do carry a little more of a price point than this.
Definitely.
But the trade-offs you get with this, with the portability and not sacrificing a lot of performance, would you say this would probably be good for maybe 80% of our people, 80% of our foilers out there?
I would say
in a boat setting.
I would say 80% of all foilers, and I would say 100% of all boat foilers. They would benefit so much from this foil as a whole, because we talked about it. The portability and the fact that you can have such a great performing carbon foil for not that much money compared to like these other brands. It has done such a great job.
Yeah, and the subtle trade-offs are very subtle.
Oh yeah, they are very subtle.
We're fortunate.
Right.
We get to ride all the brands that we sell here, and I have to say, I would agree with you that this Slingshot system, it's not just about the one lock. It does have performance. It has that glide, has that ease of use that, you know, one foil can't do everything, one foil brand, but I do agree with you that because of its portability and that performance, it's, you know, they nailed it pretty well.
They did.
Sure.
I would love to try maybe a smaller rear wing. It didn't feel draggy. I just felt like I could turn it a little bit.
And this
a little
is
better. This is the Turbo 180.
180.
Yeah, and that's I think the smallest one right now. Yeah, it was fine. I didn't really face many problems with it. But when you have a bigger wave or a bigger wake behind you, and you're really coming in and you're pumping and you want to turn, I found when I was taking a huge snappy turn, it felt like my rear wing stopped working. So I was like turning it super fast, and I was like, if I had something, you know, just like a little bit smaller, because like it felt like it was kind of dragging me a little bit. I thought it was out of the water, but it wasn't. So maybe something smaller would help me out.
You recovered well, or look well
but
in the video.
That was I was gonna
saw
say.
Your cutback. You pumped out and
the
cut
recovery on this was super awesome. Like this front wing, it's an 8.8 aspect ratio, so you can save anything you want just by like pumping out.
I saw that.
Flat water, you gotta work hard, I will say. With the bigger front wing, it'd be much easier. Actually, Cole mentioned, so he was on that, and he said it was like really easy to pump. This one, you get like your cadence is fast, but you can still do it. I think I dropped back pretty easy to like the second wake, and then I dropped back to that third. No problem. You just gotta keep it going. It's not super draggy. So
you're not a day over 19, are you? How old are you?
I'm 20.
Are you 20? All right, 20. You're a young gun, so you guys can pump these things with ease.
Right.
Pumping is not easy. It does take a little cadence and practice, but good. So I think we covered definitely portable, easy to get on the boat. And if you want to swap out different wings with different rider sizes, that's an option with this, which we've done very quick. You don't need to get a tool out.
Right.
You can quickly pop it and change the foils. So if you have multiple different people on the boat, different ability levels, you can put them on a different foil pretty quickly.
Exactly.
And in addition to that, we talked a little bit about its performance. I like to say they're trade-offs, you know. You know, we want to be upfront with this foil and its performance level. Like you said, we've mentioned a few others that you may want to have a little higher price tag that may have a little bit more higher performance advantages.
Definitely.
But this foil for what you get, and obviously Slingshot's been in the market in the weight game for a long time. They've gotten so many people on the water because part of it is getting a system that works, that's at a price point that people can digest and have fun on the water. And I do believe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, because I have not done this behind the boat, that I believe they've stepped up their foil from their Hoverglide series. And I think it's a good blend of their Phantasm. Those that have been with Slingshot for a while, you know, they're phasing out those, and this is going to become their platform moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. They got a lot of people on the water. I can't tell you how many people have been like, oh, like what's that orange and black foil, you know? And that was Slingshot. They started it out. But what I really love about this is like you got to think about who is on the boats. It's a lot of families. And I mean, if you're like my family, like me and my brother, we're pretty similar overall, and then we have our dad who's bigger, or our family friend. His daughter's about like 140. He's around like 220. And this thing, you could have everything set up perfectly, as far as like make it like everything easy. So like you can like snap the mast in and out. So like this small board that I would use, I can get a bigger board and just snap it in and out. Yeah. Swap the front wing, super easy.
Good.
So it just makes the fun factor even better because you're not losing any space on the boat. You can swap everything pretty easy, and yeah, it's a sweet foil. It's all like, yeah, you can get aluminum, but all this is carbon.
I would
so
say
it's pretty
proof
good.
is in the pudding. Watch the video.
Yes.
Yeah, this guy was ripping it up. I mean, you're making this, look easy.
Appreciate that.
And you're ripping it on a foil. It does speak to the performance of the foil.
Yes.
I mean, even though you notice those subtle differences with different foils, but not gonna hold you back. Would you agree?
I would say no. Many people behind the boat, they're like, the majority of them are surfing, wakeboarding. They're not going to notice a huge difference. They probably have not had it nearly as much ride time as we've had on all these different brands. They're not going to notice much of a difference, which I think is important because,
we're all at different levels and different points where we can engage with it. So.
Right.
Good. Was there anything you think we didn't cover with this whole one lock system and your experience that you had on the boat yesterday, or anything you want to?
Man, it just made it more fun, honestly, because my biggest worry is always like when I'm on. So like we do trips with my club, and I like to bring foils out there to get people going, just because it's good to expose people to that stuff. So it just made it better, because usually I'm worried. Okay, where's my foil? So usually there's like nowadays there is a foil like slot on top of boats.
So they have them on the wake.
Right. So now your boat, it has a tower, and then it has a foil dangling over.
Off the top,
so now when your boat is going over rollers, you're doing this, and then that can jostle it around. Last year I was on a boat and the foil actually fell down, and I was like, oh my gosh. And then you can try to put it in the slot, like in the side. And there's just like so many ways that you can try to do it to make the most like to make it easy. Yeah, I could take, the 5-10 minutes it takes to break down a whole foil, but I don't really want to do that. I would much rather just have this in a ready-to-go bag, and then I pop it out, and then I pop it back in, and I'm not going to influence anybody's wakeboard time, wake surf time. It's really something that I can just be like, hey, I'll go foil, and then you just go foil, and then you go that.
We're finding that, too, with our customers that are calling in. We've had a lot of boat customers call, and they're intrigued by this because of everything you just covered.
Yeah.
The ease of use, stashability, flexibility to quickly put them out, because you have limited real estate when you're on a boat.
Yes, you do.
If you're going to have multiple riders or different skill levels, you can have 1 to 2 foil sets, which I've been a part of where we've had multiple. It makes it very cumbersome, can be dangerous, and so I think this just makes it really nice package to get out and ride. So yeah, there you have it. I think his not first experience on the system, but getting on the boat with some other riders and getting out. Check out the B-roll, man. It's pretty sick. You guys are rocking it on the back of the boat. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to hit us up here at Mac Kite. Send us an email, a chat. We'd be happy to help you get the size that would fit your needs and where you're at, and pair you with a good board as well. So again, it's been Jeff here from Mac Kite.
Caden.
And enjoy the stoke.